This episode of Don't Bother Wearing Seatbelts is another special twofer. The first half is a conversation with Honey Puppy about their Dirty TV release that's freed from the Season 1 paywall before we move into an all-new conversation with Johnny of Witch Cat Records about his uniquely crafted releases of new experimental artists and re-releases of some E6-affiliated artists, including people who have already been guests on this podcast.
All right.
There are lots of great rock and rollers who were teachers at one point. So
kind of
Robert Pollard, Guided by Voices, and now you. So there you go.
So at any rate, I am very excited to get my copy of Dirty TV in.
The whole release plan with this one's been kind of like an experiment on kind of how do we get the most out of the current digital situation, but also like we want to put out, a record and distribute around a copy of vinyl. So kind of, how we've been doing it. It's 8 songs. I think 6 of them will come out over 8 months as singles. And then when the whole thing comes out, there's like 2 extra tracks or whatever. But in all of the press emails and everything I've sent, I've kind of veered away from calling it either a full-length album or an EP. I've kind of just been saying
Left that ambiguous.
Our first physical release.
It's a project, yeah.
Gotcha.
And it is kind of funny because I feel like obviously it's been a long course of time where those terms have been very convoluted and have meant different things. But especially now, it almost feels like even more arbitrary than it's ever felt before.
Even as I was asking the question, I was saying to myself in my head, this is very arbitrary. And kind of pointless.
But it's something that we definitely thought about and talked about for a long time, but kind of just like at the end of the day, we're like, okay, well, it is what it is, I guess. Well,
right.
Does it matter?
Yeah.
No, does not matter.
Me and Matthew are both, we love to hold a physical product in our hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
I actually won't do one of these episodes for release that doesn't have a physical aspect to it.
Interesting.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are kind of at that point too these days, where it's like everybody
You want to feel
still
like you
want
own
to do
it.
the vinyl stuff, like because it just feels like a next step. It feels like this thing that like real bands
Like a
do
complete
and
product.
everything.
Yeah.
And we really like all these songs and how they fit together. So
Why is
we're
it
like, let's do it.
I feel like it's an important tactile part of the experience. I think holding that artwork in your hands, being able to read the liner notes, look at the full expression of what the band intended this release to signify is the best way to listen to a record.
For sure. The last release we had, Nymphet, we did tapes, which we were really excited about, which you know about.
Yes, I do. I have that.
Yeah. And that was just like, honestly, after getting the tape, like after receiving it and looking at it and being like, oh my God, that's the font that we made. Those are the colors we picked out. It definitely makes it a little more like, I don't know, because if you don't have something to hold in your hand, you're like, okay, it's out there in the void, which is great and it's cool, but I don't know, it's nice to have something
Material.
It's too impermanent when it's just the digital. It feels like, yes, it does exist, but it very, very much on the cusp of not existing if it's just on the digital. But when you have this physical copy and you have it in your hands, you feel a closeness to the artist that you're listening to.
I think it's the actual connection, you know, like you have to put a needle down on the thing they made. It's like holding out your hand to like grab a hold and be like, all right, let's do this together for the next 40 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been like a favorite album type of person more so than like a favorite artist type of person, where it's like
Sure.
I have all these albums that I return to and I listen to like the album pretty much all the way through. I like T-Rex, but I like this album by T-Rex, and I like, you know, these certain records or whatever.
I can attest to that. He listens to albums all the way through.
And
outside silk and inside lawn. Curtains torn and curtains drawn. You took your finger and stuck it in my eye. I like to linger. Hello, hi, hello, goodbye. Hello, hi, hello, goodbye. Hello, hi, hello, goodbye. Hello, hi, hello, goodbye. False in legs and false in thighs.
what are each of your favorite records?
You go first. You opened up this conversation.
Easy one off the top of my head would be Ram, Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
Have you heard the mono version?
I don't think I've heard the mono version of Ram.
Oh yeah, get that if you can, because it's really wild and cool. They put it out a few years ago as like a record store day release, but then they actually just released it. And it just comes in like a white. It almost looks like the White Album, but it just says like Ram, like pencil drawn on like the corner.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm sure it's online too, but like check it out in mono because you know it's such a wildly fun stereo experience. But yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
the arrangements on there are awesome. But yeah, I guess that's off the top of my head. My
Yeah.
answer.
I would say that's pretty accurate for you. I feel like I've also talked about this. I'm going to have to go with probably a Pixies album. I don't know. I love Doolittle and Surfer Rose. I love a lot of their albums, but like Pixies, for whatever reason, I think that like I listened to them at like a time where I made like an attachment to that band, I guess, because like I sort of discovered them at, you know, like I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
And so like every single time I listen to like Surfer Rosa or a Doolittle, I'm just like, holy shit, man, the Pixies are so fucking good. Like the lyrics are so weird, and like they do a really good job of like creating this like world, I guess, where
Yeah.
like the stories that he tells are just, it's just so bizarre, but it works. And then like I also just love how what's his name? What's the dude? Frank Black.
Frank Black.
I feel like a lot of my favorite bands have people that like objectively it's like, okay, they're not a good singer, but like his voice mixed with like Kim Deal's voice, I'm just like, holy shit.
I love his voice. So I'm in that movie Loud Quiet Loud. Yeah, the documentary they made about their reunion tour. I'm at the first show back.
Oh shit, you're like an audience member?
Yeah, and I'm wearing like a white and red stocking cap, so I look like Where's Waldo in the fourth row.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked at the venue because they played a couple club shows before they played like Coachella. And I had a friend who worked there, and he was like, "Hey, tomorrow at 1:00, they're putting Pixies tickets on sale. They're gonna play here." Yeah, what a band! I mean, like, and I love Frank Black's voice, but yeah, that's cool that you're.
Those albums are amazing. How do we feel about the reincarnated Pixies, though? Their rise from the ashes within the past like 10 years.
Yeah, I can be pretty stubborn when it comes to like my listening preferences. So I've definitely been like, you know, on Spotify, and it's like Pixies just dropped a new song, and in my head I automatically be like, that reminds me, I need to listen to Doolittle again. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But I did see them. I saw them actually, oddly enough, open up for Weezer. I went to see Pixies, but it was like they were opening up for Weezer, and it
Well,
was
Weezer has two pretty decent albums from
I
the
think
very
there's-
beginning of their career.
yeah. I mean, they still sounded great. I mean, you're not gonna replace Kim Deal ever,
No.
like successfully, and so it's like it is what it is, and they were still great. But it's also just like Kim Deal was definitely like 25% of the band, so.
Well, no, for sure. Kim Deal was amazing.
And Breeders, love Breeders.
Yeah.
Yep.
We actually go back and forth. They both like Breeders more than Pixies. I'm Pixies all the way, which is kind of funny because they're always like, oh, Honey Puppy, it's kind of like the Breeders. And I'm like, I like Pixies better. But
I like the songwriting. I think the songwriting is more intentional for the Breeder stuff, which I personally
Pixies
like.
to me are cooler. I don't know.
I get that.
It's just cooler.
I would say for me, I think I do fall slightly more on the Breeders side.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like the consistency of everything that she made with that band was phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, her voice is just stupidly beautiful, very awesome.
We're just some twee motherfuckers, you know?
Have you heard her new solo album that came out last year? It's so good.
No. We got
I have to
some
check it
listening
out.
to
We
do.
were in Barcelona. She was playing though.
No, that was Kim Gordon.
That was Kim
That
Gordon.
was Kim Gordon. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
Kim. That's
Yeah,
great.
Kim Deal put out a solo record last year, and it's wild. It's so good. There's like tons of strings on it, and like it's really cool. It's like it's almost like a chamber pop record, but with her voice, and it's just like it's so good. It was in my top 5 of the year last year.
Oh shit! I gotta check
Y'all
that
gotta
out.
get your records in.
Love me. Love me in the attic. Lips are stuck with spit. Pinkish knees and elbows you can kiss. Rotten mouth and too much candy. Fever dream in January. You're a tooth and I'm a fairy.
My big 3 are probably Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, Love
Okay.
and Pink Moon by Nick Drake.
Yep.
Although I've been listening to a lot of newer stuff lately, and there's some really cool shit coming out nowadays, which I've been enjoying a lot. Yeah, we were just listening to this the new Julie record, the new band called Julie, and then this band called Star Cleaner Reunion out of New York. that I've been
Star
listening to.
Cleaner reunion.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah,
Cool. Thank you for the tips. I love all your choices, though. Those are good choices.
thank you.
Zach?
I probably 2 Pod by the Breeders.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. And then
Damn.
Sonic Youth. I'm a big Sonic Youth guy too. I like Goo.
Awesome.
Goo's your favorite? Goo's your favorite Sonic Youth?
Yeah, well, just right now.
You don't have to defend it.
No, I mean that's a
No,
band.
Patrick's mad at you now.
No, that's a band that has so much that I was so into, like Pavement, Guided by Voices, Yola Tango, that kind of stuff. That Sonic Youth was always like, it was almost scary for me to fully dive into because there was such a plethora of things to. So I have several of their records, but it's never been a thing where I've been like, I gotta listen to the entire discography of Sonic Youth, even though I should.
Now it's sexy, because it is. When you're teething.
Talking about favorite records, I will tell you guys that my favorite record of 2022 was Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, he told me that. He told me that. He told me that pre this podcast, so he's not even lying.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not lying either. Like that's my favorite album of that year. I fucking loved that album.
Thank you. That's so
Yeah,
nice.
we worked really hard on that one for sure.
For sure.
I don't know if maybe you've heard Adam or post about it or something, but I sort of came like a little late to the game on that record because it was like already a work in progress, but y'all were in all, like it was worked on for probably like what, a year?
Yeah, it was definitely like
It probably took us 2 years.
probably
2
close to
years,
2.
yeah. So it was like because like that was at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it definitely was like a COVID product. Which
And what was it? Like 34 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a great record. I
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to hearing Dirty TV, having heard what you group of people have made before this, and also Nymphette. I mean, I love Nymphette. Like, I'm really looking forward to the new album. When did you guys start working on the songs for the new album? Was it like immediately after Nymphette, or were you already working on those songs? Like, are they from the same period?
I mean, I would say like the nice thing about the new batch of songs that we have done for this album or whatever, is it seems like the first EP that we did, Nymphette, was like, that was all, a lot of those were songs that like I had kind of like written and like ready to go, but I didn't have like a band. And then, you know, they helped me with like fleshing them out and making them really cool. They, as in Adam and Will. Seth wasn't here yet.
The songs on the tape that are the early demos, is that just you before the rest of the band came in?
So the Nymphette demo is just me. That actually was a class project for, like, I had a production class with David Barbie, and that was what I turned in for it. And I didn't really know, like, that was just me like messing around with Pro Tools.
Really?
Yeah. So that was like, I guess, like the very first thing that I like recorded. And then when I showed that, you know, we were roommates, and I showed them that song, and they were like, hey, let's just make a band. And I was like, fuck no, I'm terrified. Like, I don't want to play in front of people. And they were like, you need to get over yourself. And so
that's what you have done.
And then the Vinny Press demo was a different class project.
Yeah, actually.
That was the first time we all played together.
Yeah, like, and that one was funny too, because you turned it in, and you know, everybody else in that class really didn't like necessarily know what they were doing, but Josie had this thing that like we had all sat in our like basement studio. Just,
I had help for my class project.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, we felt like the parents, like you know, putting together the diorama and being like, all right, well, we're invested in this now.
Yeah, and then like they're like, what grade did you get on it? What did they say about it? You know. That was really fun. But yeah, I would say like those songs, I feel like we had a lot more like of the groundwork already done. Whereas the newer songs, those are all songs that I feel like I came to them pretty bare bones with just like, here's verse, chorus, all this shit, general idea, general vibe that I like. I always tell people I'll write a really like simple song, and then they really like to just like take that and fuck it up, and then I have to relearn my own song, because they'll be like, well, what if we do this really weird thing for no reason here? And it's really cool, but I'm also like,
It's
I'll have to
really
relearn it. And it's
Right.
The reason it is, it's fun.
Yeah. Like Dirty TV, that one was one I feel like, you know, I didn't have any lyrics to that one at all or anything like that when we had recorded it. So that one was very much like we were patching it along together. And I would say that's probably my favorite song that we've ever done.
We
But-
pulled all the lyrics for that one out
From
of
the
a
manual.
yeah, a TV manual,
Except for the Dirty Girl part.
Zenith television set from the 70s.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't realize that. And I'm going to have to re-listen to, as you're saying, for the lyrics to the verses, correct?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like saying like,
Welcome to the Zenith
welcome to
family
the
TV.
Zenith
Yes.
family. Like, congratulations, you bought this TV, and it's like giving you like all these and, and like I was just like I couldn't. Usually I like my lyrics to be very like nursery rhymey and whatever, but I don't know. For that, I was just like, the TV manual works. It makes sense, so we'll just do that.
Cool.
Yeah, my dad feels weird about that song. He's like,
Oh,
what do
he
you-
did.
yeah, he's like,
Your
what do you
dad's not a
mean? Like,
fan of listening to you sing about being okay. I got you.
yeah, well, he's like, what the hell do you mean, dirty girl? And I'm like, Dad, it's just,
It ain't like
it's
that.
just lyrics.
It's punk rock, Dad.
All right, like, whatever.
So pick this up and check this out.
It was a lot more cobbled together insofar that the recording process was a lot more disjointed and the songs kind of came,
It was slower.
it was a lot slower, and the record, like all of the songs were from different sessions that we recorded with honestly even different configurations on who's playing what. So
He
it was,
played drums.
I played drums on some of them and guitar on some of them, and it was just definitely one of those things where it was like we would wait for Josie to kind of have something ready and we would just approach it, and it gradually sort of turned into a release where I feel like Dirty TV is certainly more of an intentional release and release cycle. I think it's just kind of a natural progression of getting something out, getting more comfortable playing together and being a band together, and then approaching that as a group rather than just trying to throw something to, not necessarily, I like that EP a lot. It wasn't just thrown together necessarily, but it was definitely a lot more piecemeal than
We
than
took our
Dirty TV.
time on
Yeah.
it. It was also like I'd never recorded anything before, so I was also just getting comfortable with doing that.
It is nice to live above a recording studio, though. When we moved in, there were some frat bros in the basement with a ping pong table playing beer pong. They were only in half of the basement, but it's like kind of built out into a full studio. So I was like, hey, we're going to rent this, and I'm going to rent the entire basement instead of half the basement. They were like, okay, we'll see. Like $200 more a month, and you got it. It's like, deal. For sure.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a great space. We've made a lot of stuff down there. We made a lot of Ad Nauseam down. I guess we made pretty
Y'all
much
made all of
Ad
it,
Nauseam
yeah.
down there. And yeah, all these songs, all the Nymphette songs, probably 20 other records last year, something like that.
As a guy who used to have a studio in his basement, does it put the when you haven't been down there in a few days, do you get feeling bad about yourself, or do you just
Yes, you do.
You
I
feel
mean-
the eye of Sauron from the basement.
Yeah.
That you?
Yes, man, I should really be recording a song right now.
I absolutely, yeah. I've since moved from this house, but especially when I was living there, I was like, "You're a fucking idiot." Every day I wasn't down there, just beat myself up. But you know, that's just how it goes.
Well, it's also
You take it for
just-
granted in a way.
You do. I was going to say that's like the thing that was hard about it, especially with like the Nymphette EP. It was like you don't realize you're like, okay, well,
I
can
can do
just
it whenever.
I
yeah.
can just work on this after work, but you don't because you're like, oh, I have a base, like my basement is a studio, so it's like we can get this done super quick because we can just go down there like before we go to bed. But that's not what ends up happening.
Yeah, the next thing it's been 3 months and you haven't really touched anything.
Yeah.
Because then because then you're sitting there and you're listening to it and you're just like, well, we can take another month to make, and really you just need to make a deadline, which I think that's the nice thing that we've learned, which we were a lot better with like the Dirty TV thing. We're like, okay, nah, we're getting these fucking songs done, these 3 songs done this day, which we didn't really do for the first EP.
There's something to be said about, like we have a week in the studio to do all of this.
Totally.
But the amount of experimentation that can happen when you're just have it in your basement is really a beautiful thing. And
totally,
for sure.
That definitely came through in the ad nauseum days.
There's a lot of weird
too,
shit on
because
there.
it was like kind of almost on the opposite end, where it was like the entire world was shut down and we lived there. So it was like we would be down there until 4 a.m, trying different things on vocals. And I remember, like, specifically, I just think of like in the morning and being drunk at 4 a.m. and yelling those vocals over and over again.
It was definitely that was fun. It was kind of like ad nauseum at some points, like doing vocals and stuff was kind of a party down there. It was just like, hey, we're gonna hang out and drink and make this record. It's gonna be so fun, and it was fun. I mean, but I also wasn't the one mixing it and everything, so
I had fun.
I don't love you anymore. It's getting harder to ignore. I don't know how I'm supposed to go about my day when you're always standing in my way.
So I want to apologize because I think I keep saying nymphette and you're saying nymphette.
that's just how I say it. Honestly, everybody that said it to me has said it the way that you say it, so I'm probably saying
I think
it
that
wrong.
technically is the right way to say
I think that's the nymphette is probably the technical.
Yeah.
Right.
I started thinking about it. I'm like, am I saying it incorrectly because should it have another T and an E to become nymphette?
Oh, I see what you're
And
And
saying.
you
like,
know what?
I
I didn't double check that, so I've never really thought about that. But that's
We didn't use
possible
the French spelling for a reason. So,
understood. It's the reason that you're not French.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I play it cool because I wanna be your Tannenbaum, but I'll never be that royal Veruca salt. Tell me all day long, 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 long. I wanna be a crossed out lover.
One thing I wanted to ask you guys, since technically this podcast is about Elephant Six and the Elephant Six Recording Company and people's influence by it and of the who, what, when, where, and how that influenced you. So like, what does that mean to you guys and where you are and how it inspires your existence in that city or whatever?
I mean, we are pretty good friends with John Fernandez, who to me is one of the faces. I mean, he is one of the faces of Elephant Six, and
also just like what he's continued to do for the city.
yeah,
with
he's
live
awesome.
recordings and all of his projects. I think that's a really good example of, I guess, just to speak to my experience a little bit. I got accepted into UGA. I didn't really want to go to school here, honestly. I was super scared about it. But the only thing that consistently I was excited about was the fact that I knew that there was a music scene here that I liked from listening to, Neutral Milk Hotel of Montreal when I was in high school. And then you get here and you meet people like John who are continuing to do stuff who are continuing to, support local musicians and who are putting a ton of energy and time and money and resources into making sure that that is facilitated. And I think that's a really good example of like what E6 sort of translates to, especially in a contemporary sense. It's just this community of musicians that I think all benefited in the 90s from being, associated with each other and building off of each other's work and talents. And I think that they're still continuing to do the same thing now, just in a slightly different capacity, considering they're older and a lot of them have kids, and obviously it looks different. But I think the ethos is still very similar to that. And I think that, I don't think Athens would be the same without those people being involved in the community.
Yeah, I think overall for sure, like the basic, we're getting together with all of our friends and we're making music and we're making 5 different bands and we're all playing in each other's projects and we're putting together a record on our own and experimenting with the tape machines and doing whatever is very much like an ode to E6. And then like on top of that, John's helping put out this record as well. So this is a co-release between Indecent Artistry and Cloud Recordings. Indecent Artistry is my project, and then Cloud Recordings is obviously John's. So he's helping with some distribution and stuff like that. He helped us a ton with the Ad Nauseum record as well. So it's like learned a lot kind of just through working with him on that. And then to be able just to talk with people like Robert Schneider and bounce ideas off, or it's inspiring. Just like, you've made some of my favorite records like of all time. Like, check this out kind of thing. It's pretty cool. And he's such a nice dude too.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, and I think I have similar experiences. I'm a lot older than you. I was kind of like, a teenager when all that stuff was happening in the 90s. And so, the first time I ever met John was incredible. And, my band toured with the Apples and stuff like that. So getting to hang out with Robert and, kind of in it. And you guys are exactly right that they continue to make the magic, make music. And I love that you guys, being in Athens, continue on the home recording thing. I think I'm from Iowa, which is actually where John was born. He was actually born in a town he was actually born in a town about 20 miles away from here. What E6 and kind of, like 80s, 90s indie rock did for me was show you that you could, record records at home.
Totally, yeah.
Some of the greatest records of all time, you know what I mean? So I love that you guys have continued that aesthetic and are making really amazing music with it. So
thanks. Yeah, and definitely to your point, I think the DIY aesthetic wouldn't happen if we weren't exposed to that in this town, especially just like the consistent commercialization of what the music industry looks like. I think that having those people as like examples to follow through has like been it's been massive for me, and I know it has been for them too. So like, I think my life would look very different if those people didn't do what they did, 100%.
So you went to school at UGA. What about the rest of you guys?
We lived in the same city, south of Atlanta. Me and Will did for high school, kind of from around all over. I was born in Illinois, and all my family's in Texas and some on the West Coast, but I'm the only one in Georgia. But I've been in Athens now for a little over 10 years, so I say I'm from Athens now. Not like him, though. He's actually from Athens.
Yeah, he's actually from Athens.
Yeah. I grew up in Athens, and I left. Well, I went to UJ. I left for school to do soccer, completely different, and then I came back.
A different life.
Different life, yeah. And I came back.
Damn.
And was 17.
You really fucked up there.
Hey Johnny, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, my friend?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, my friend.
All right.
I don't know how much Matthew filled you in, but yeah, we're just excited to talk about what you do and the Dressy Bessy record and other stuff you have coming up and why you started the label and all that kind of stuff. So
All right. Well, we're here with Johnny from Witch Cat Records, who very recently put out a 7-inch for the Tammy Shine. It's kind of like a companion piece to her recent solo album. And this thing is just so extremely interesting with all the different things that you put into it. It's holographic. It comes with a ViewMaster reel. Tell us a little bit about how you decided to make the records holographic and how you actually did that.
Yeah, there was a couple iterations that I was kind of like going through because we were talking about this for almost 2 years, I want to say. And originally, when I came up with the ViewMaster reel idea, that was actually going to be the record itself. So I was going to have round records and have it look like a ViewMaster reel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so like instead of like the holograph, it'd be like the pictures behind it. But then we started talking. I started looking at getting ViewMaster reels made if they still made them, and I was like, oh, they do. So that was kind of more fun to me. And
Yeah.
then the holograph came. This was a really long time ago. I had done some other records. It was for an art project, and I had made something similar like that, not as complex, and I kind of had remembered it. And Tammy had sent me a bunch of artwork she had been working on for the cover of the album, and I started messing around with things, and I made the transparent. And I was like, oh, it's something really cool would look behind this transparency, and so I went back to the holograph, and it's just holograph paper.
But the fact that you could get it to work and that the record actually plays beautifully is
Right.
really surprising to me because I have some lathe cuts that do not play well. And this is just, it's such a strange looking lathe cut. And for it to play as well as it did, I was very surprised.
Yeah, my friend at it's called Meat Records, MEEP. He does a really good job. He's been doing it for a really long time now, so he's gotten it down. Yeah, he's got a really nice setup going. So I do all my lathe cuts through him, and I'm always happy with him.
Yeah, no, he did a fantastic job. It definitely, it plays beautifully.
can I ask what got you into wanting to start this and a record label and in general? Like what is like the catalyst to your musical obsession? Because I think anybody who starts a record label kind of probably comes from a musical obsession.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it goes back to being a teenager, and I grew up in kind of a smaller town, and discovering like underground music was like a huge deal for me. And it was kind of like I started listening to things on like Kill Rock Stars and Discord and K Records, and it was just kind of like that. If I saw a tape or something looking at the record store and you saw that symbol, you knew like it was a safe buy. And it was kind of like even if you didn't like the album, you knew there was good intentions behind them releasing it. So it was just kind of like something important to me. And I think it was something I always wanted to do. So I've always been a really big fan of the band, the legendary Pink Dots, and I've been a fan of them since the late '90s, I want to say. And I got to know the main guy just a little bit through another friend of mine because he was doing booking and stuff for them, and he'd go on tour with them. And I just kind of, he was coming to town to play a show, and I kind of randomly emailed him and see if he wanted to do like a lathe cut record, a special record for the show. And he said, yeah. And within a couple weeks, I had like songs of his in my Dropbox. And I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. And so at that show, we started talking. I'd asked him if I could release another record of his that I've always wanted on vinyl personally. And he said, yeah. And
What album was that?
Acid China Doll. It's a solo album of his from 1987. And it had been put on vinyl, but it had a really bad mastering job, and they never listened to the test pressings. And so I wanted to give it a proper issue. And so yeah, he said yes. And next thing I know, it's like, oh, I got to start a record label now. But then COVID happened, so it took some time. That was October 2019 when we started talking about it. And so it took a little time, but then like as COVID dragged on, I was kind of like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. Who knows what's gonna happen? Might as well like do what I want. And so yeah, it just started from there.
Suitcase full of tank tops, we just wanna dance. Sunrise with some strangers listening to trance. Roll up to the party sober, fat kicks are all she needs.
Is the label your everyday now?
No, the label is a passion project, big time. Yeah, I honestly just DoorDash right now.
Gotcha.
I worked at Guitar Center for 10 years, but COVID messed that up too. And so I just DoorDash right now. And I mean, the label, it takes all the money I make.
Yes, I can understand that.
Well, it's really cool. I mean, it's really fun to see all the different things that you did for the Dressy Bessie thing. And you're from Denver, is that correct?
Yeah, I lived there since 2000. So
Okay. So Dressy Bessie, like, have you engulfed yourself in that scene more?
So I've done a lot of Denver releases, mostly cassettes for Denver bands, just because they're smaller. And then I started, because a lot of the music I release is kind of more in like the dark ambient, experimental, avant-garde, whatever kind of stuff. And I started, I've always been a big fan of so much kind of music that I never really wanted to just like be shoehorned into that. And so I always kind of had this like idea of slowly introducing more pop music.
Right.
But then there's a band here called Pink Lady Monster who I'm a huge fan of. And
of the bands that I looked at on your label, Pink Lady Monster, I think, was the one that stood out the most to me. Yeah, I listened to, what was it, Kikimora?
Yeah.
Fantastic song.
Yeah, they're great. They've got a new record out too, that they self-released. That's fantastic. Highly recommend it. And so they were kind of post-punk with some avant-garde jazz and stuff in there. And then Tammy and I had kind of started talking around the same time I was releasing that one. And there's another person who I was hanging out with quite a bit, Baby Forever, Lily. And she does more like synth pop kind of stuff. And I just love her music too. So I was like, hey, let's put out a tape. And so it all kind of just happened at once, where I kind of like started releasing a bunch of pop stuff. So yeah, it was kind of all a surprise to me that all of that happened the way it did.
Would you put Baby Forever in that idea of the pop? And like Pink Lady Monster, would you say that's closer to the poppier side of what you release?
I would say that, yeah. I mean, not, it's all up into interpretation, but compared to like the other stuff I released, definitely. So yeah, so now I'm all over the place with the music. As far as upcoming releases go, I have nothing on the table right now. There's a legendary Pink Dots album that I talked with Edward about reissuing but just financially, it's just a lot for me right now. So hopefully in the near future, I can do that. And then I want to start working with some more Denver bands too, or release newer albums by bands that I've released before.
Vuelven a cargar la rabia, pero solo por un tiempo. Quieren matar la noche, llueven risas en tu mar.
So you worked at Guitar Center, so you probably play music yourself. Do you have your own band that you play in, or your own project or anything?
I used to play in Denver a bit, yeah, but I haven't done music in 6 or 7 years now, so I kind of do it through the label, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the beautiful thing. I'm the same way. I haven't played a show since the pandemic, but I feel like I'm getting to do this and getting to talk music all the time. It still feels like a really important part of a music scene or whatever. So
Right, you're still a part of it, yeah.
yeah, and I love what you did with Dressy Bessy. How did you meet Tammy?
So I used to see Dressy Bessy play all the time back in the day, and we kind of knew each other, you know, just kind of acquaintance. But then I hadn't seen her in many years, and I was thinking about her one day. John used to DJ at a local bar here, and I used to go to that and hang out with them. And there was the Tommy Rose song "Sweet Pea" that John used to play all the time, and I was listening to it, and it reminded me of like hanging out with them. So I emailed Tammy. I was like, "Oh man, I was just thinking about you because of the song." And then we just started talking. Like I went
Oh Sweet Pea, Come On and Dance With Me. That
you got
one?
it, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
And
fucking love that song.
supposedly Dressy Bessy's covered it too. They just haven't put it out.
That's a perfect Dressy Bessy song.
Right?
Yeah. It's got one of my favorite drum breaks in all of music. You know that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a lathe cut release of that one day.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just started talking from there, and she was asking me about the label and stuff, and then we ran into each other at another show. We really talked all night. She gave me a early copy of her album, and yeah, we just became friends. Like we just started hanging out quite a bit, and here we are. You know, really cool stuff. It was a really fun release to work on with her.
Yeah, well, and I think Tammy has been such a cool visual artist her whole career as well. You know, like she's always brought that element into not only her music, but her records and photography and stuff like that. So this is just a really cool addition to the canon that is like the history of Dressy Bessy, Tammy. So when I saw it, I think Matthew maybe posted something about it first before I had seen it, or maybe Tammy did, and I was just like, wow, this is so cool. It's such a interesting to release, and then to not have heard of the record label or anything, you know, it's a really beautiful new surprise to my world, I guess, because I've been a big Dressy Bessy fan for years. So
Right, yeah. I've just, you know, I love her like Instagram page, like, and I love like all the photo shoots she does, you know, of herself. Like they're always so fun and like lively, and I've just always been a big fan of that. And so that's kind of what I really wanted to capture with the record, you know, was like a physical version of that. So
I think you did. I think it was really cool. I think
yeah,
you know, an added element to her already brilliant artisticness. So
right, yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that.
The 90s were such a really cool time for these little pockets of record labels that you trust and know, like you were saying, like,
Right.
oh, if it has the label or if it has the logo, I was that way with like Matador Records too. It's like, oh, it's
Yep.
Right.
Matador, so whatever, it's got to be good, right? So you buy it or whatever, or merge, all that stuff. And I think that's just there's something a little less. The subcultures aren't as subculture anymore, for like newer bands. I don't really have, I still, follow Matador and stuff like that, but I don't really have record labels that I'm seeking out where I know that's going to be a sure thing. But I think it's so cool that you have created your own little subculture within that with your record label. It's
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
cool to see
Yeah,
that.
it's fun. And with the Tammy record, like there's only 30 copies. And even though, the songs are the same, there's 3 songs and 3 Viewmaster reels. There's like a bunch of different holograph things. Everybody's going to have like a different copy somehow.
Yep.
There's no 2 that are going to match up the same. So that's, I like doing these unique things like that. So I've done quite a few things like that. And it makes like, it gives somebody something more special than just the music. It feels personalized for them, which I really try to incorporate in a lot of the releases.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you were saying about small labels as well is that you're trusting somebody to curate for you something that they believe in, and I feel like that is what your label is giving us. Like everything that you have on there is something that you personally believe in.
Right. Except for no, I'm kidding.
If there's one band in the world you could release a record for, who would it be?
I think, was it me and you, Matthew, that were talking about this? I mean, I would totally love to release Olivia Tremor Control on cassette. They haven't had the releases yet on cassette.
Oh my
God. But this is going to sound really funny, but Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a Bee Gees album that was never released. It's called "A Kick in the Head Is Worth 10 in the Pants."
Wait,
I want to put that out.
That's
like what time period was that in the Bee Gees' career? Like, are we talking later, earlier? Disco, flower pop?
Or disco. It was in their kind of we're turning country phase. And the label was like, no, you can't put this out. And that's when I started going disco.
They have such a unique story. And then when they kind of broke up in the middle of the early eras and they put out like that Cucumber Castle.
Oh yeah. And there's the Robin Gibbs solo record too that was never put out. It was put out recently on CD. But
that's awesome too. I love that record.
So good. Yeah, it's so good. Did you ever see the Cucumber Castle movie?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
I like it better. I like it better than the Sgt. Pepper movie.
Oh yeah, Sgt. Pepper is terrible.
Just because it's weird and wild, and the songs are pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, like my main thing with the record label, I mean, those are pipe dreams. But I really just want to focus on Denver. There's so much good music in Denver, and I've always been a part of the Denver underground scene. Like I lived next door to a warehouse that did shows all the time, and I've just watched a lot of Denver bands kind of come and go, and they go because Denver doesn't have a lot of support here. It's hard for bands to get out of Denver because it's 8 hours either to Salt Lake or 8 hours to Kansas City. And so a lot of bands just don't really have an opportunity to play a show outside of Denver. I want to give people just an opportunity to be like, hey, somebody believed in my music and they put it out, and I hope it means the world to them, And I always tell them too, I'm like, use this as a stepping stone, I don't want this to sound like bragging or anything, but I have worldwide recognition because of bands that I work with. And so it's use this as a stepping stone, send this out as demos, and instead of just trying to, but yeah, I mean, hopefully the label can grow and I can get bands more attention. But right now it's such a small passion project in a way that it's hard to go further than what I'm doing right now.
Well, it's a beautiful passion project, and I think it's really cool what you're doing, and that you want to support your local scene. I think the thing about playing in Denver, just like you're saying, it was always a trek. Denver's such a cool town to hang out in, so beautiful. You want to go out in the mountains, or you want to go to Shake It Records, or not Shake It. Of what's the record store there that I love?
Twist and Shout.
Oh yeah, Twist and Shout, yeah. Or you want to drive up to Boulder, or do something, and you
I
never
just
have.
bought a Chubby Checker record today. I just had to put that in there because you said Twist and Shout.
Nice. Well,
Seriously, I bought a Chubby Checker record today.
That's
All right, go ahead.
Well, you never have time in Denver to like hang out, because you've driven from Omaha or something, which is like 9 hours, and you lose an hour, and you're like, and so you're always just like fried whenever you got there, whether you were driving from Salt Lake or Omaha or down from New Mexico or something, like it's always a trek just to get into the town. And then you got to play a show. So it's always, and you always have to leave early. So I think Denver is got to be one of those tough places to be from. But yeah, it's cool that you've released this this Tammy album, and you made it in such a cool way. And how can people find out more about the record label and you and other stuff happening?
Right now my Instagram is the best place, the Witch Cat Records on Instagram. And then my Bandcamp, which is also Witch Cat Records.
Yeah, very much want to thank you for not just coming out and doing the episode, but for taking the time in your own life to promote these bands, to put out these amazing little records that act as artifacts of this time in music.
Don't Bother Wearing Seatbelts returns in not 2, but 1 week with a special episode with Azalea Snail. It's a deep dive with a legendary lo-fi artist who is still creating magical soundscape music, covering everything from recording to film to even Dick Van Dyke. And of course, her 30-year connection to the Elephant Six Collective. Then we'll be back a week after that with an all-new episode with the Sunshine Fix. Until then, don't forget about our $1 Patreon that makes you eligible for our many giveaways and helps us keep the proverbial lights on. And oh yeah, don't forget to do what brings you joy and fulfillment. And maybe listen to some great music too.